Record. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. What's up, guys? We're back again this week with another episode of Football Mezzanine. And how you been?
Nice elongated mezzanine. I'm good. This is the episode when we're here with like the changes of splitting up our podcast into more topics. So we're going to have a hard deadline of 30 minutes for talking about the Premier League. So we're going to start with the Premier League segment, and then the last 10 minutes are going to be dedicated for a deep dive. And we're also going to have some other segments like trivia and chants, but we'll do that in other podcasts when Tristan's also here.
Yeah, man literally quit on us today, but that's aight.
I guess you can roast him, Shrikar, because we roasted you when you left.
I know, right? Guy.
Like 30 seconds in or something.
But it's
yeah.
okay, Chelsea lost it. Chelsea lost too. Damn it.
What? That's a good thing. What do you mean? You're a Liverpool fan.
No, I know, but I wanted to hear Tristan's, reaction on it.
Oh, you're talking about Tristan still. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
He would just spit out stats, to be honest. He'd just spit out stats. He'd be like...
True. He's like, honest, we had more possession today, so we technically should have won.
Oh my god. Tristan's going to watch this and be like, these assholes. But, so keep an eye on the time. We're at a minute 27 right now. By 30 minutes, we'll cut ourselves off and move on to the next segment. Yeah. So, we're going to start with the Premier League segment, specifically just top 6, and we're going to talk about those games and break it down for you and just give our thoughts on them. So, we'll go in chronological order, and the first one was a blowout, as it always is this season when Man City's involved.
Why can't you guys lose? Like, what? Why? Let us have, I don't
know. Why can't you guys lose? I don't know. But,
every game's a blowout. It's not even close. No team is even close.
Yeah, I'm just having a great time. This is, when people were saying last year that we need to repeat our success that we had last season to be considered one of the Premier League's greatest sides, even though I think that's a little bit harsh considering 100 points. But doing it again is what we had to do, and it looks like we're doing it again. So, and this wasn't even our best performance, to be quite honest. Guardiola was again pretty harsh on his players in the press conference. He was saying we lost a lot of balls, and we weren't in control at all times in the game. But one thing that you can expect from Pellegrini teams whenever you play against them is he'll go all out attack against you.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And
which definitely will backfire in the big games.
Exactly, and when you play a team like Man City, that's what happens. And I can't tell you how frustrating it was when he was manager of Man City, and every big Champions League game we played, he would play 2 up front, and I'm like, come on, dude. He played Aguero and Dzeko or something against Barcelona in the Champions League, and we ended up losing. So man doesn't know how to
manage the games, essentially.
He's just an all-out attack kind of guy, and that works sometimes, but not always.
Good on him for trying to keep an attacking philosophy, but when you're at one of the bigger clubs, you can't really afford to. You have to look at the bigger picture, which I guess he's not seeing.
He's dubbed the engineer. Because he actually got an engineering degree before he became a manager.
Oh, sick.
But I don't know, dude. His eyes always freak me out. I don't know if you also see it, but they're so big and
so
red.
Droopy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so. If you guys haven't seen Pellegrini's eyes, go search it up. It'll freak you out.
Pellegrini's a freak.
Looks like, and I don't want to say it, but
don't say it. Don't say it.
He was a pretty nice guy when he was manager, so I don't want to roast him. But
True.
I'm just enjoying...
But 4 goals. What's your goal difference now? 40? Something like that?
40. Yeah.
Something crazy.
No, it's...
5...
I think it's 35 because we scored 40 and conceded 5. But, man, it's just ridiculous. I think that's more points than you have. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So... I guess that's a good segue into the Liverpool game.
Yeah, I mean, 3-0. This game was actually tougher than it looked. The first half was boring, man. It was a snooze fest. Until the 40th minute, no team had a single shot on target, which goes to show how tight the midfield battle was. Henderson was brought back into this game, and he proved pivotal until he got sent off, which was kind of comical. Which was kind of comical. Like, man straight up went after the same player 3 times in like 5 minutes. And he was already on a yellow card. And he started walking down the tunnel before the ref even took out his red card.
I saw that.
Like, he was just like, yeah,
I
fuck
saw
it.
that.
Yeah, he's just like, you know what, fuck it. He threw the captain's armband at Van Dijk or Milner. And he's like, yeah, fuck you, ref.
Yeah, he made
And
the
just threw
foul.
him down the tunnel.
He made the foul. He looked at
and
the
just
ref.
walked off. Yeah.
The ref didn't even pull out his card yet. And he's gone. He's down the tunnel. It's like, if I was a ref, I'd like stop and I'll be like, "Where you going?" Like, I'm not sending you up.
It's just
pretty
like,
good
nah, I'm
tactic,
not dealing
actually.
with this.
Yeah, it was pretty.
And and we went on to score a goal after he got sent off too, which was kind of nice. Andy Robertson down the flank, and Robertson's, in my opinion, been perhaps the best left back in the league this season, hands down.
Liverpool fans love to say that, eh?
No, but it's true. Like, name me one left back who's better than him in the league right now.
Benjamin Mendy, even though he's
But man's like injured, man's like injured half the time.
No, I'm completely joking. It was just sarcastic.
Like,
He's
I know
not
Mendy
that-
on his day is a quality player, but I feel like Robertson gives you... He's like a Milner-esque player where he gives you a 7 out of 10 every game he plays.
Yeah, Robertson is definitely. I'd say he's the best left back in the league too. He's pretty consistent.
He gets assists. He knows when to attack and when to switch off on the attack and go back into a more defensive position.
Yeah.
Which I feel a lot of modern fullbacks lack. They're either full on attacking, like Bellerin, or very defensive like Nathaniel Klein. But I feel like Robertson has a good mix.
I was reading some things, some comments he said recently, I think last week, where he was talking about how over the summer he was really, he was deep in thought. He was wondering whether he could keep up his, performance levels from last season. Because essentially last season was, his breakout season as a player.
Right, yeah.
And he was really nervous about whether he could keep it going. But, good for him. He's really kept it going, and he's become, currently the best left back in the league.
Yeah.
I don't love throwing out words like that, he's the best in the league, because literally a person has a good performance one game and then you call him the best, and then another game someone else has a good performance and you call him the best. Hazard will score a hat-trick next week and people will say he's the best player in the league again, and then Salah will score 5 in one game and they'll be like, oh,
right.
What did you even think otherwise? So
right.
I try to hold off.
But I feel like for attackers, it's a different story than defense. You can say Stones, Walker, Van Dijk are the top 3 defenders in the league. You could say that about the defensive unit and maybe the goalkeeper. But
Walker?
I don't know. I think Stones, not Walker. My bad.
Yeah. I actually don't rate Walker that well defensively, but that's another story.
Interesting.
I'll get into that.
But yeah, also Trent scored a great free kick, which top bins.
Yeah.
Very, very classy finish.
He's growing into a really good player. He had a little dip a few weeks ago where he was out of the team because I think it started with that bad game at Napoli. And then he was
also some off-pitch shenanigans, but yeah.
Wait, actually? What happened off the pitch?
You haven't heard of it? Okay, oh my god.
No.
Have you heard the Snapchat story?
No, I'm out of the loop here.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I don't know if this is appropriate for the podcast, but Trent has a thing for pregnant women. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. I'll look this up after the podcast.
He was in Russia and something happened with his Snapchat, and those details got leaked.
What the fuck? This kid's 18, right?
No, I think he's 20.
He's 20? I thought he was 18 years old.
No,
I swear he's 18.
Turned 20. No.
Alexander Arnold. What the fuck? I remember reading something about him where he was the youngest player in the England squad at 18 years old or something, but whatever.
Yeah, I think his first call up. But yeah, there was some off-field things that happened which might have distracted him, but I think he's back now.
He's back now. No more pregnant
Yeah.
women.
No, no more
Distracting
pregnant
him.
women. Nah.
Yeah, that's pretty odd, man. That's pretty weird. I don't know what else to
Yeah.
say.
I mean, Trent, you do you, but you know what? Try to keep it under wraps next time.
Interesting.
uh,
But Liverpool keep winning, man.
yeah,
Like,
32. We would have actually been on par had that Arsenal. I'm still cheesed about that goal, but you know what?
what are
Oh
you
well.
what are you talking about?
Like the Mane goal that was ruled offside when it wasn't
Oh,
offside, and that
come
would
on,
have
mate. Come on.
like they would have kept us on like par. Like
That was in the first half. So like you can't just like if that goal went in.
yeah,
I
but
hate when people are like, "Oh, if that goal went in the first half, we'd have won the game." Like that's not how it works. You realize there's more minutes to play, right?
nah, I get that, but still, you
No,
know,
I get the
infuriates me
frustration though.
a little bit, because that's the only thing that's separating us, and it's killing me. Also, five goals conceded still, which is very good.
Very good. You guys are looking like Man City's and Liverpool's defense this year is on another
Yeah.
level, even though they're like the most attacking teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like just the quality in
Yo,
general.
I feel like it's gonna be that La Liga season where Barca had 99 points and Real had 96 points.
Yeah,
Like-
it's looking like that. It's looking like
I'm gonna
that.
be so pissed if that happens. I'm gonna be so pissed if that happens.
Man, if that happens, like, fate really hates you guys. Like, it just doesn't want you to win the
Every
league.
time we want to win the league, there's some other freaking retarded team that has a better season. Like,
Or-
fuck.
Or just a slip.
Or ha ha ha.
I mean, it's true.
Very,
like,
very original.
that was very
original.
it was very self-inflicted. It's not like you could say other teams beat you. You beat yourself in that season. Anyway, we don't have to
Oh,
get
well.
into that.
Moving on to
A snooze fest.
United Palace. What the fuck was that game? That was I watched like a bit of it. It was boring as it was super boring. Like there was nothing.
It was
in
really
that
funny.
game.
I saw a video of a fan actually like sleeping in that game.
Yeah, I saw that
And
too.
it just summed it up, man. I've gotten past the point where I'm like, haha, United, but because right now I'm just like, I'm at this point now where I'm like curious about how the fuck a team that has so many good players can be so consistently poor, you know?
I read a stat that United's overall wages are double that of City, which is insane.
I don't think it's double, I think it's 500,000 more. But yeah, something
That's
like
still
that.
insane.
It's insane.
Actually, half that's Alexis, but still.
I think entire that is Alexis. He earns 500,000 in wages every week.
Damn. For nothing. For fuck all.
And we're gonna talk about this in our deep dive when we talk about Mourinho's management style in general. So if you guys want, you can check out that video, even though it's gonna be at the end of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Crystal Palace could have won this game very easily if they just took any of their chances because they had a lot.
They had 13 shots.
And
I mean,
remember
2 on target, but still.
One chance was just so clear, but Townsend, I think it was just blazed it across. And
this is United playing at home. At Old Trafford.
they've only won 3 games at home all season, so it's not even
Which
like a
is-
surprise. It's more just, how are they this consistent? Like, Mourinho has created like a persona where he's put it off himself completely and just blamed it on the board, the signings, the players. Where, personally, I think at this point, to be doing this badly with so many good players
They're
in
worse
your
than
team
Moyes.
is just inexcusable.
Moyes was better at this stage of his season.
I think this is the worst season in 28 years, so every manager before was better at this stage of the season.
And they're closer to the bottom than to the top, and they could very well slip to 10th next game week if they don't win.
Almost, not almost, but close to the halfway point of the season, and they have a
Yeah.
negative goal difference. Like, you could just...
Yeah, they have what other team has a negative goal? Wolves are the
Like-
next team.
You could just keep spewing out stats like this, but... I don't know, man. I think Roy Hodgson would be disappointed he didn't win this game.
Yeah, clearly. And there was no intent from the players. Like, there was no drive. Like, if you see some sort of intent, some sort of drive, but that's what the fans pay for. United's one of the highest, tickets in the Premier League, and fans don't come for that.
That's so strange too. Like, how can I don't get it. I really don't get it, man.
Because every other team in the top 10 is playing attacking football. Leicester play attacking football. Bournemouth play attacking football. Everton under Silva do. Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, City.
It's like,
and then there's United.
It just reminds me of that rut that Arsenal were in last season at the very end, where every single thing was going wrong for them, and every game it just got worse and worse and worse, until there was just no option left, but to sack Wenger after 22 years. And it doesn't need to be this bad for United. I think they need to just act now, because instead of giving him money in the January transfer window, which I think they're gonna do, they should just move on.
Yeah, and also Full-Time Devils, which is like a United's fan channel, is turning into new Arsenal Fan TV, straight up. Their views are skyrocketing, and I'm actually, I go check out their videos now instead.
Me too. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't care about Arsenal now; they're winning. Give me some entertainment.
Arsenal's winning now, so I guess AFTV is done.
Yeah, it's quality content though. It's so good. There's like
AFTV?
proper rants on there. Yeah, no, the United one.
Oh yeah.
Full-Time Devils. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like,
let's see who the next troops will be and the next DT.
I don't know, man. Like, you have Lukaku, you have Pogba, you have Sanchez, you have... It boggles my mind. It really does.
Yeah. Well, they're 7th now, 21 points.
Like, so...
I don't know where they're going to go.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into the whole debacle right now, because we're going to talk about it in our deep dive at the end of our Premier League segment. Yep. After our Premier League segment. So, you know what? Let's shelve it, I guess, and then move on to the next game for now.
The next game would be Bournemouth, or would it be Tottenham, Chelsea?
No, it would be Spurs. It was on Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is a clash of the London clubs. One in a shithole and one in a posh area, but let's not get into that.
Okay, lads.
The game did take place at Wembley, which was, TBH, not that bad of an area. I liked Wembley.
Yeah, so why'd you call it a shithole?
Spurs are from a shithole of an area. North London is pretty trash.
It's fair. Yeah.
North London's pretty trash. Like, compared to, Chelsea,
fair.
Come on.
Fair. But the teams that were on the pitch, only one of them was trash. And specifically David Luiz was horrendous. He was hilarious.
He's responsible for 64% of Chelsea's errors this season. Goals.
I have seen that stat, yeah. And
what is that about? Huh?
Yeah, but he can pass the ball, bro. So
sick.
There you go.
I can pass the ball too. Let's go join Chelsea.
Dude, he reminds me of I don't know who he reminds me of, but he's a player who's on his day one of the best defenders in the world, and when he's not on his day, he's an under 8. He cannot do anything right.
I think he's past it a bit at this point. I remember 2012 in that Europa League season. Yeah, I think he's done at the top level, in my opinion.
I think he's the same he was as he's always been. He has really good games. And that's why he's in the Chelsea team, because he's one of their better players when he's playing well. But when he's having off days like the one he just did, you can concede 6 goals when he's on the pitch, because he'll be invisible, or he'll be it's ridiculous. I don't think he can play at the top level because of that tendency to switch off.
Right. And kind of like Alberto Moreno in some sense.
Alberto Moreno is lit.
He's actually a lit guy. we just keep him in the dressing room just because he's fun.
Just because he's fun.
That's straight up to entertain all the Brazilians. That's why he's there, essentially.
To entertain all the Brazilians. Okay.
But yeah, Chelsea. I don't know. I think we've seen the first real flaw in the Chelsea team. The real flaw, it's Jorginho. If you stop him, like Tottenham did, this Chelsea side essentially have no attack.
I don't know. I think I saw their defensive weakness in like the first game of the season, and I think it's been there ever since, just less pronounced, because like they haven't had too many tests. When they did have tests, like when they played Arsenal, they conceded 2 goals, really poor goals to concede, and then here they played Spurs, conceded 3 goals. I think defense has been a weakness for them. It just hasn't shown up too much against smaller teams so far, and it kind of reminds me of Guardiola's first season at City, where like he won like 10 games in a row for the first 10 games, and then people were like, "Oh my God, he's just storming the league," and then it just fell apart when people figured out how to like attack them.
Yeah,
maybe something similar could be happening at Chelsea.
Maybe I don't know. Just need more time to they're probably past that managerial high now when the new manager comes in.
Yeah.
At first, you have the initial high, like we've seen with Ranieri at Fulham on the weekend. They won their first game under him.
Yeah, I mean, then they're gonna win the league now, which is just
100%.
I already put my £5 in.
20th place to first place, it's gonna happen. Watch.
It's definitely possible.
Mathematically, yeah. Actually, no. Actually, mathematically, yeah.
Of course, it's mathematically possible. It's like 13 games in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was pretty happy that Spurs won this game.
Yeah, same. Because I wanted Chelsea to, not have an unbeaten start. Like, at least one team, come on, lose.
Okay, so you were happy because Chelsea lost. I was happy because Spurs won.
Sick.
Yeah. And when Son scored that goal, it was just so nice. Man, I love Son. He's such a good player.
Yeah, Son's the only player from Spurs I kind of have some sort of affinity to.
He's
just
up.
Unlikable.
How do you not appreciate Harry Kane as an England fan?
The fuck Kane.
Are you serious? Are you
even as an
serious?
England fan, yeah, I'm serious, bro.
God.
I'm serious. Kane, I don't know, man.
You know who's your favorite player though, right? Lamela?
Oh, 100%.
No, but fair enough though. That guy's actually a cunt.
Lamela? Yeah, screw him.
He's actually a cunt. I hate him. He's so dirty.
But also Eriksen's pretty cool. I think I like Eriksen.
Eriksen's nice too. Yeah, he's pretty sweet.
No.
Okay.
But that was a great goal. I mean, he took on the entire Luis was not even there, so I don't know if you should count him, but
he took on 3 players. Nah, he took on 2.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, he ran past Jorginho like he had no pace, and Jorginho doesn't have any pace. And a lot of people are making the case. This kind of annoys me. A lot of people are saying that he should be playing Conte in his preferred position, because if that was Conte, that goal wouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. But they're only saying that because they lost.
I know Carragher said that too, but.
Why weren't you saying that for the first 13 games when they were unbeaten, right?
Yeah.
And then they lose one game, and then you go the manager doesn't know what he's doing. That's what I hate about media sensationalism.
Yeah, that's a little unjust, I guess.
So yeah, it's true. I probably agree that it's Conte's best position, but I'm sure he knows that too. But he chose to rearrange it because he thinks Jorginho dictates to play better from a deeper position, which he does. It's true.
Yeah.
So I just don't like it when Chelsea have literally lost their first game of the season and there's already people calling it a crisis. Come on, it's just
it's a bit overstated. Yeah, you're right.
So, chill out. They're still gonna have a good season. They're still probably gonna finish 3rd, maybe 4th now, because Spurs are coming back on.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should give credit to Pochettino with everything that's going on around the club with the stadium. They're they're just 3 points behind, 5 points behind top. It's not out of their reach either.
Literally, yeah. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Spurs had, by many people's eyes so far, a really shit season. But you look at their position, they've been grinding out results. And
all it takes is us. Oh, next weekend's gonna be interesting because there's 3 derbies. It's the posh derby with Chelsea, Fulham. Then there's the North London. Then it's a derby. They're freaking 2 miles apart.
Yeah, but okay.
Okay, fair. I get what you mean. Then there's the North London derby with Tottenham and Arsenal, and then there's the Merseyside derby with Liverpool, Everton.
Oh, true. Everton are looking good, by the way, so that could be a good game.
Nah, we're gonna smack them anyway. It's fine. No worries.
Oh yeah. Right,
Yeah,
we'll see.
no
Where
worries.
is it,
No,
Anfield or Goodison?
I think it's at Anfield. No, maybe it's at Goodison.
I feel like you guys do better against Everton away.
No, that's not true.
No?
No. We
Okay.
usually draw against almost. Yeah, most of the games we played at Goodison have been draws in recent memory. But this game is at Anfield, so we should be fine.
I remember Sturridge scoring a really, really late goal against Everton
That
like
was a
last
header.
year.
That was a 3-3. No, that wasn't
No, no,
last
no,
year.
no, not the header. It was like a 97th minute like winner or something.
Oh, I remember. This was like
It
during the
bounced off the
Christmas
post or
period.
something, and then
Yeah,
he
this was
tapped
during
it
the
in.
Christmas period. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
then
if
there's
that was
also
at
the
Anfield.
Mane late goal
I don't know. I
a while
forget.
back. But
I,
yeah,
I
that's
feel disgusting
whatever.
thinking about Liverpool in this time. Uh,
But yeah,
let's
Tottenham looking good. Third place. They could go up to second next week. You never know.
yeah. Let's move on to Bournemouth 1, Arsenal
Arsenal.
2.
Arsenal again continuing their unbeaten run.
Eking out results, and they've already won more away games than they did all of last season,
That's actually
which
kind of
really
shocking.
tells you something. That's actually
That's
really
actually kind of shocking, but okay.
shocking. Which is
Yikes.
it's pretty
I don't know if
cool.
you should be happy about it, but you know what? Cool.
Well, if you don't care about the past, then yeah, it's a pretty good thing.
They're in a good moment right now.
I think we are in a very good moment, dude. If you go on the Arsenal subreddit, they absolutely love Emery. Like some people want to have like babies with Emery. Man, it's insane.
Nice.
And like fair enough, they keep eking out wins.
Yeah.
They just keep doing it, and it's like not something Arsenal are used to. If you put them under pressure like last season, they would just lose.
They'll crumble, yeah.
Yeah, just not even like draw or fight. They just lose. But I don't know. This season I keep seeing them grind out these 2-1 scorelines, and they didn't play that well this game. But
No, they didn't, but they
Ex-
kind of got blessed with an own goal,
that's true.
which was I mean, they had 20 shots, but only 4 on target. Bournemouth had more, chances that
All
were
right,
concrete.
you're turning into Tristan.
Yeah, bless. But
Socrates came out and said after the game, like, we're only playing at 70% so far under Emery, and
yeah,
we
which
can,
is true.
yeah, which is kind of surprising too because they're doing better in terms of points than I remember them doing ever in like previous years. But oh shit. So anyway, but if they can
Maybe
get
we'll
even
see
better
like a
than
dip
this,
again. Maybe the managerial high will come to an end at some point in the coming weeks. Maybe Christmas period when the things, because most managers who come from outside are not used to the hectic Christmas period.
Yeah.
And Arsenal are in the Europa League as well, which involves heavy travel to
It's true,
farther
it's
off
true.
places.
But
So, we'll have to see how he copes in his first season.
But this year is the year that Premier League introduces its staggered winter break, right? So I think that could help, which is a good thing, definitely.
Possibly.
So we'll talk about the staggered winter break in like the next episode or something. It's worth explaining. But yeah, Arsenal are looking ominous.
They're looking
for
aight.
the top four.
We'll see how the
They could break into the
North
top
London
four.
Derby goes.
You know?
Yeah, next week's gonna be interesting because if they do beat Spurs, that would shake things up a bit.
I'm gonna go
Further.
for a draw in that game.
Yeah, maybe a 2-2. I could see a 2-2.
Yeah, I see a draw in that game. Where is it? Wembley or Emirates?
I think it's at Emirates.
Yeah, I see a draw in that game. Like 1-1 or 2-2. But yeah, that's gonna be like the test for Arsenal. But do you want to end the Premier League segment on that note?
Yeah, I think we hit the right notes.
We're at 29 minutes, but that's fine.
That's great. Perfect.
So, if you guys are on just the Premier League segment video, you can switch videos to our deep dive if you want to listen to the rest of the podcast. But if you guys are listening to the full podcast, then you can stay right here because now we're going to get into our deep dive for the week, which is we're going to dissect Mourinho's management style. And I'll let Shrikar do like a little introduction.
Yeah, so Mourinho, controversial, very controversial figure in recent times, especially. So just brief history about Mourinho himself, the man, the myth, the legend. He started his career off at Benfica actually, where he only lasted for 9 games. But this spell was pretty successful for him, and he did get a lot of other offers. But then the man continued his Portuguese travels, went to Porto in 2002. He won the league there, I think. And then
I think.
yeah, I think. And
Yeah,
he also won the he won the
did.
Champions League there at Porto, so that was a really successful time. Not a lot of people expected Porto, Portuguese side to win the Champions League, which proved his credentials in the big leagues. Then came the offer from Chelsea in 2004, where he got his nickname, the Special One, as we all know, and from there, we know the story. Chelsea, he had back-to-back Premier League titles, very successful period under the old guard of Chelsea with Lampard, Drogba, Terry. And then he moved on to Madrid, where I don't know if we could classify his Madrid spell as successful, but he did win the league, I think, once there, beating a very informed Barcelona side, which was under Pep. So there were very interesting battles there for him. And then moved back to Chelsea, won the league again. And now he's ended up at United. So that's the man's story, his lifetime so far. But very controversial at every place he's been to. Right, Ange? I don't really recall a single instance in recent memory where he hasn't proved to be a controversial figure.
Okay. That brings us to like his current situation at Man United, where he is having a very, very rough time to say the least. And there's so
What do you
many
think is the
reasons.
inherent issue with Mourinho? Like, he got sacked from Chelsea. I think that's where the problems really started.
Yeah, like if you want to just be general, you could say it's his third season, and third seasons with Mourinho always end like this. But I want to talk about a little bit about like his actual style of management
Mm-hmm.
and what like his history of management has entailed and what players have said about him. So before we do that, though, let's talk about his current situation at United, where he's having
A torrid
a
time, a very
really
rough time.
it's gotten so deep and so murky that there's not like one or two or three reasons for it. It feels like everything surrounding the club and surrounding Mourinho right now is at like a low. So
Mm-hmm.
his relationship with players seems to be terrible. His relationship with the board seems to be terrible. His like his perceived quality of the squad seems to be bad. He thinks that the current generation of players are all just mentally weak.
Mm.
Like it seems like nothing is going right for him, and uh, one thing that illustrates this is he completely publicly went in the media yesterday, or not yesterday, a few days ago, and said that the entire generation of players that includes Shaw, Martial, Lingard, and Rashford, I think. He mentioned the names. He said that they're all mentally unable to compete when I came in. Like, they were all mentally unable to compete.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken them, like, 2 seasons for me to... He didn't say that, but he said when I came in, they were unable to compete. And saying
Right.
that publicly in the media, like, I don't know what
Yeah.
good that can do. Like, that's just the way I can say it, but I don't know what good that can do. Like,
He
what's
literally
that gonna
said that
do?
his players would be better off staying at home and watching Manchester United on television if they cannot handle the pressure of playing at Old Trafford.
And comments like that really make you think that he's a toxic manager. And that's what I thought. Like, the entire time I've known Mourinho as a manager, I've always thought he's a
Mm-hmm.
toxic manager. And comments
Mm-hmm.
like that reinforce my belief. But if you actually go listen to what players say about Mourinho, it's like a completely different story, which is
It's
so
very
interesting.
interesting. There's certain players, certain types of players that he really gravitates towards in a
Yeah.
dressing room. And then oftentimes it's maybe one or two, but then the rest of the dressing room is completely ignored.
I don't know about that though. Like, there's many players who have come out and said that he's like no doubt, like not even a question, the best manager they've ever had. Like not even a question. Like by far too. And there's also players who've worked under both Guardiola and Mourinho who've said that still. And like I'll read out like a couple of quotes after I find them. I had them written down. But like you can talk like a little bit more to that.
I recall this one interview that I saw with Terry and Gerrard, and I recall this very like one incident where Terry was injured in 2005 2006, and he was lying on the injury table inside the dressing room, and most players, when the manager walks by, most managers would ask the player how he's feeling, when's the return time, but Mourinho did none of that apparently. He literally walked past Terry, gave him a cold stare, and literally said nothing to him. And that's one incident that stuck with Terry for some reason. And Terry liked that because it gave him motivation to prove to the boss that he wasn't, going to be out for that long. He could take the tough love. And Gerrard, those types of old school players really admired Mourinho's, sort of tough love. Maybe perhaps because they weren't babied into anything. If you look at players right now, the perception from the outside is that these types of players are not as mentally strong, like Jose says too.
That's like his whole thing. He keeps coming back to the fact that players today are too pampered, they're too mentally weak, they can't handle pressure, and he keeps saying that in the press conferences after games too. He said they couldn't handle the pressure. So what I think is, like, here's like my sort of theory about what Mourinho works best with. I think he works best with players who are very tough and very thick-skinned. And I feel like those types of players don't exist as much anymore as they used to, which is why I think his management style isn't working with Man United.
Or even recently, for that matter, not just United.
Well, it still kind of worked with Chelsea when he was last at Chelsea. For the first 2 seasons, he was really successful. And I think that's still because he had those leaders at the club. He still
Terry
had
was still
John
captain.
Terry.
Yeah.
And he still had like many leaders, and I think he still like re-signed Drogba for like a year. That he was a huge influence in the dressing room.
Yeah.
But, like, if you look at the current like group of players at United, there's no one like that anymore. And I think that kind of breed of player.
Maybe Ashley Young, but even him, not really.
I don't see it, honestly.
De Gea, maybe, but he's not an outfield player, so you can't really.
Like, his way of managing is pretty much, it's the opposite of what most managers do. He tells players internally that they're the best players in the world, and externally to the media, he goes out and he criticizes them, which is like, it makes no sense. It's the opposite of what most managers do. But it'd
be confusing for me as a player itself. Like, if I'd rather take the criticism up front in the dressing room and then let the manager, maybe praise me outside. Like, I wouldn't mind that, right?
Exactly. But he likes to play this game where, maybe a game is a wrong word.
His famous mind games.
His famous mind games, but it's like his management style where it's really, really tough love. So he'll like love you on the inside and give you like big bear hugs inside the dressing room, but he won't show that in the public. And like we were talking about this last week in like the chat, it's like a military style sort of love, where you sort of you create like this really, really intense bond inside the team, but it's still really harsh. And if you don't meet the standards, you're ostracized, and there's no shortcuts. And I feel like players were made for that back then, but maybe they're not made for that like anymore. Like 2018, like who the fuck cares? Like, if he's mean to you, like you go complain to the boss. Like,
I mean, you release a freaking diss track like Depay did.
Oh my god.
Like, when you're coming, it wasn't even a diss track, but it was like when you have players doing that in the modern like era, like you would never think Terry, Gerrard, Lampard would ever think of releasing a song like that. That's not even like part of their structure. But like Griezmann had a freaking show announcing his transfer.
Well, yeah, like what the fuck is that, man?
Yeah, like times have changed, and I don't think Mourinho has adapted
Like, here's a quote from Lampard that kind of sums up what many players have like talked about Mourinho, which is interesting because like I thought he was toxic, but reading stuff like this kind of changes my mind. So he said, "For me, Jose was the best. He was the first manager I came across to have a particular way. He knew whether a player needed a leg up or a rollicking, and he formed a
Mm-hmm.
spirit among the team that was formidable. We didn't have a group mentality to win the league, but he brought that in. And we've seen the same thing happening for him at Inter and with his Real Madrid team." Frank Lampard. And I have so many quotes like this from players. I have them from
Mm-hmm.
Ibrahimovic, where he said the following year he left Inter for Real Madrid, and at the same time, him and Materazzi parted ways. Materazzi is about the world's toughest defender, but as he hugged Mourinho, he began to cry. And I can understand him in a way, because Mourinho arouses feelings in people. Ibrahimovic said that. And like, just like, listening to stuff like that is super interesting because on the outside he
It's
comes
almost like a
across,
split personality with like different players. It's
yeah,
like you
and
hear
this
one thing and then you hear this other polarizing opposite from other players.
I haven't actually heard a polarizing opposite from like players, except players who have really really big personalities like Ramos. You know,
Mm. Yeah.
there is one exception. If Mourinho's on your side, then he can be the best manager you've ever had. If he's not on your
Right.
side, he can be like your worst enemy. And
But
I can
isn't it a
see
manager's job to bring everyone onto your side?
exactly, and but I can see why that management style worked, and I can also see
Yeah.
why that doesn't work anymore. You know,
Mm.
like, interesting comments were made by like Iniesta this week. I don't know if you've seen them, Shrikar.
The one where he talks about him being depressed?
Uh, no, when he talks about Mourinho.
Oh no, I haven't heard. What did he say?
So he said that Mourinho, when he came into Real Madrid,
Mm-hmm.
the Clásico between Barca and Real Madrid was all obviously very very intense. Like, it was like the most intense derby they
Yeah.
ever participated in. But after Mourinho came in, he introduced like a hatred among the players that wasn't there before, and that
Right.
really disrupted like the Spanish national teams, international teams
Right.
too, because like
Because at that point in time, it was essentially just Madrid and Barca players.
yeah, and he said
They,
that Mourinho inspired like a hatred of Barca players from the Real Madrid players.
mm,
And like that's just his style of management. He brings everyone together in like this really strong knit group
cult-like fashion.
in like cult like to like treat the
Yeah.
other person as like the enemy, which is exactly how like army groups work. And
And he
it's like
treats the press in the same way too.
exactly. He's like everyone's against us, so we have to go and beat everyone.
Mm,
And like I see why that doesn't work anymore in today's world.
yeah.
So
What do you think needs to change at United then? Does he need to go? Giggs comes in for 6 months.
I think he needs to go, but I think he's not the only problem. I think the board needs to hire a
A
director of football.
Mm.
I think they need to have like a transfer strategy because they don't. Um,
You know who I think would have done really well at United? Ranieri.
maybe, I don't know. I don't know about his experience with managing big players, so I don't know.
Dude, watch Wenger come into United. Oh my god.
No, dude, there's no chance of that happening. He
Because
will come back to the
I've
Premier
heard
League.
I've heard talks that Wenger might take over at Bayern in the summer.
Yeah, that could happen. But he's not coming back to the PL if he's not going to Arsenal.
Yo, watch it happen.
It's not gonna happen. Put a £5 on it though.
Just for fun, just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But-
I think time's running down for him at United. Something needs
Yeah.
to change quickly, or else he will be a man without a job.
I think he should be. I just don't think there's any way for this to turn around because there's so many relationships already broken. I don't think you can come back from this.
The infamous third year repeats itself once again. A prophecy for the times.
Sir. And I think that also means time is running out for us because it's 45 minutes now. Yeah. If you guys enjoyed that, let us know.
And like we said before, we'd be introducing more fun topics, fun, little segments into our podcast coming next week once Tristan's back, which will spice things up, add more entertainment value to your listening experience. So stay tuned. And we're on all different platforms: Spotify, Anchor, Google Play Music, iTunes, and of course YouTube. So do check us out there and spread the word if you like it. Tell your friends to subscribe, and give us a like, please.
Give us a sub, give us a like, and give us a comment if you like our stuff. If you don't like our stuff, give us a comment. Let us know what
if you hate T-Series, give us a sub. I don't mind.
Wait, I thought you're on T-Series' side. What?
Nah, bro. Nah. Cut this out. Cut this out. Nah. We'll see you next week, guys. I am on. Yes.
Bye.
I'm on. Bye.